Do you need help formatting your footnotes? Don't worry, I got you. I'm Pierce from Van Dunk Edits, and in the month of June, I'm going to be giving you 30 new citation tips, one new tip for every single day. Yesterday, we talked about line spacing in your bibliography. Today, we're going to be talking about that same thing, but in your footnotes. Now, there are three things you want to consider when you're talking about line spacing and footnotes. The first is, do you need the space? Right? Just like with the bibliography, you're going to want single-spaced footnotes, a blank line of space between each footnote. That's what the Chicago guide says. That's what the Turabian guide says. However, you're going to want to check in with your professor, your advisor, your school, whoever you're writing for, whether they want that space or not. A lot of times, your school or professor or advisor is going to prefer not to have that space because if you have a lot of footnotes, it adds a lot of length to the paper. And when you have a discrepancy between what the school wants and what the guide says, you go with what the school wants. So just check in with whoever you're writing for. If you determine that you do need that blank line of space between each footnote, the second thing you're going to want to consider is maybe you want to wait until the end of the writing process to format those footnotes. Microsoft Word is going to automatically format the footnotes in a certain way, and usually it's going to be without that space and in the wrong font, the wrong size. Rather than fiddling around with the automatic settings and trying to figure out how to change that, I find it easier to write everything, add all my footnotes, and at the end of the process, hit Control-A or Command-A or whatever you have to do, whether you're on a PC or a Mac, to select all of the footnotes and then change the font, the size, and the spacing all at once. And obviously, you're going to use that same method that we talked about yesterday using the paragraph settings window or the layout tab. Third thing you're going to want to consider is make sure that the size of the space between the footnotes matches the size of your footnote font. Now, normally that's going to be 10-point font. Some schools want 11, some schools want 8, whatever your specific situation is. If you're deviating from the style guide, just follow what the school wants and make sure that the blank line of space matches the size of the text. If you want help with all these intricacies, you go ahead and reach out to us at vandunkedits.com today.